Well, I guess we're going to move on if nobody else wants to fucking throw their hat in on this. I guess everybody agrees with me. Oh, there he is. Hey, Stuart. You want to help me out? Absolutely. I haven't been alone on the show in a long time. Come on in, guys. Actually, grab that mic right there. All right, this is all right, I don't know. We can try to. You know what? I don't know if I have that one. Here, go ahead. Try that mic.
Hello.
No, you know what? Use that one over there. Yeah, sorry. I didn't set that one up. All right, Stuart Jacobson, local celebrity. Oh, and somebody else is calling in, too. Hang on. International celebrity. I don't know why I'm calling you a local celebrity. Hang on. It's insulting. Hey, who's this?
Hey, it's me, your fucking co-host.
Oh, the co-host of the show.
Yeah, thanks for... Stuart in studio?
Yeah, not the same Stuart who was here last time, though.
It's not the Kush guy, right?
No, not the guy who called weed Kush.
No,
we're
is fucking the worst. The act of voting is you allowing that system to exist. It's your part to say, okay, I'm okay with this existing. I don't like it at all. It's the worst, stupidest thing I can ever think of.
There's right there.
Okay. What do you think about that, sucker?
Sounds awesome. Stuart, are you here?
I am here.
Let me see.
I am so happy and delighted to be in the studio with you tonight.
Hold on. Fucking, I might...
What the hell are you guys doing over there?
I don't know. I'm trying to do the whole show by myself tonight. I'll figure it out. Hold on.
At least 1 week and you just fall apart?
I know what I did. It was a monitoring problem I had before. Hang on. I'll get you on. Stuart. I'm faking him out. No,
I'm a bitch.
This is the bit. I just invite people in here and just never turn their mic on. Hey, Trix.
That happens a lot.
Carry the ball for 30 seconds for me.
Who, me?
Yes.
Okay, in beautiful Wisconsin, at the Econo Lodge, where donuts and waffles are free.
Test.
And everybody else lives here permanently except us.
So you're up at the Econo Lodge?
They all try to offer us pills and drugs. And one lady was like, "Hey, I got some oxycodone, right?" And I was like, "Are you the chick that tried to sell these guys Xanax like 2 days ago?" She's like, "No, not me. I don't just offer random people pills." And I was like, "But you just offered me pills." She's like, "Well, no, that wasn't me. It definitely wasn't me, but it definitely was her." You know
okay,
I don't even know if you're listening.
Shut up now. All right, let's talk about voting.
Yeah.
I think Stuart here. You're a Republican, right? Mostly.
I lean to the right a bit.
Okay,
but I'm a libertarian.
Did you vote in the midterm?
I did vote.
And who all did you vote for? Did they like local stuff, like sheriff and all that shit? And
I voted for governor.
Okay.
And a few of the referendums, but none of the judges. But I did vote for Rauner.
Yeah, Rauner's. He's the guy. Let's see. Is he? I just don't even care about politics anymore. I'm like,
I'm pretty sure that's the guy who wanted.
He's the Republican running for governor, right?
He was the Republican.
He's going to destroy her family if she doesn't fire people. That's like the hit piece against him.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know. Go ahead, dude. Tell us about him. Why'd you vote for him?
Why? We're number 50 in social liberties in this state. We're about number 48 in the economy, 46, 47 in unemployment. He's a lifetime politician, Quinn. It was time for him to be removed.
What do you think about that, Earthling? That's my co-host nickname.
Who was it about time who got removed?
Quinn, right?
Quinn?
That guy's a cocksucker. I think they're both cocksuckers.
Absolutely right. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's the worst. Then why'd you vote for that one cocksucker for?
Because he's better than the other cocksucker. You got to pick your cocksucker.
Yeah, I just can't deal with that idea anymore that you just have to pick one or the other. When are we just going to overthrow the whole fucking thing and actually get something done, you know?
Yeah, right.
That's my question.
Like I said, sorry.
Go ahead.
Like I said, voting is giving them permission to rule. When you vote, you give them permission to rule. Now, if nobody fucking voted and they just went and voted for themselves to be 1 versus 1, and then everybody'd be like, you guys are a joke. So I encourage people not to vote, and fuck Puff Daddy if he thinks otherwise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But nothing has changed for 3,000 years. It's been the same.
Well, yeah.
Wow.
What's the
So if we don't vote, everything just becomes stagnant.
Plumbing and water and stuff.
Listen, what happens, we give our politicians too many rights and too much responsibility. That's what we have to fight against.
Well, I mean, I agree with that, but what system have we ever been able to come up with that didn't result in a total imbalance of power? Or are we just not there yet evolutionarily? You don't expect us to be able to achieve that as a society yet, you know? Because that's what I have a problem with is, like, we're not going to vote our way out of this system just raping us left and right, you know? I really don't believe that we are. And
It'll never happen.
And I think if we ever get close enough, that's when we'll see voting taken away from us, you know?
Right.
So
there's just too much apathy in this country.
Well, that and there's just too much at stake for the people that are running things from behind the scenes more, you know?
Right.
And
too many people are dependent on the government.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, they get their cell phones, they get their food stamps, they get all their welfare benefits. So these are the people that are voting for the people that should not be in power.
Yeah, but you're just talking about like a left versus right kind of thing, right?
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, see.
Of course, now there is no left versus right.
That's the thing.
You know, they've all assimilated into one insidious, horrific party, which is to just feed their own pocketbooks.
So, I guess I wanted to talk about the importance of voting. Do you think it's really important to vote, or just do it to satisfy your own personal philosophy, or kind of like?
Listen, if we didn't vote and Quinn remained governor, this state would not go forward. So people need to vote.
What makes you think that Rauner's going to move things forward, though? It's just this constant just tipping back and forth, you know, and waiting till the people of a state or a country get to the tipping point of we can't take this anymore. Every president gets to, like, you know, everybody's talking, Democrats lost so many seats because of the low approval rating, blah, blah, blah. You know, this happened with every president in my lifetime. They push things as far as they can. People get fed up. Their approval rating goes through the floor. The midterm, the Congress shifts power. Then he can't get anything done for the rest of his term. It's the same fucking little act every presidency, you know.
But now that the Republicans have taken over pretty much all the power, other than the executive branch as president, now they have to prove themselves. If they don't prove themselves, it'll shift back.
Didn't this happen in '94?
It's happened every.
It happens every
midterm,
12 years
midterm,
or whatever.
Yeah.
It swings one way or the other.
Right. But you know, to get back to Rauner, what makes him better? I mean, he's a multi-billionaire, so he's proven himself as far as.
Where did he get his money from? I don't even know much about this guy. I probably should, but do you know where he got his money from?
Yeah, in the private sector, as far as building up businesses and selling them. And not that this guy he's just got a proven success record when it comes to equities and building businesses. And if he can build the state into something a little bit better than what we have right now, he'll succeed.
How do you figure that work? Because, like, isn't running government like a business kind of the thing that's hurting the country the most, you know? I mean, this idea that we're going to somehow stimulate the economy through some kind of great idea or social program or something, I just don't see it, you know? I mean, especially in a state like Illinois, which has such a rich history of, you know, of funneling straight to the top, you know, and everybody looking the other way.
What we need to do in this state is create jobs. We need to get people off of the welfare system. We need to stop giving out.
Well, I'm all for that. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, but isn't...
And the left, of course, they like giving out these benefits.
Sure. Well, the left, it plays the card of we're going to give you everything you need to be dependent on us to make sure that, you know, we can continue to tell you the best way to live your lives, and, you know, in all under the guise of compassion, you know. And I understand that, and they're their own kind of psychopaths, you know, definitely. But I just don't trust any politician, any part of the system anymore, any part of the whole goddamn thing. You show me this guy Rauner. You know, I honestly, I stayed out of the whole election in the whole I just haven't watched the news about it or anything. I don't care. I've been watching videos about Bigfoot, UFOs, shark attacks, things like this. You know, I just, man, I don't know. What could you say to convince me that this guy's not the same douchebag that every politician is that doesn't give a shit about me or you know?
Absolutely nothing. I can't tell you. I can't tell you, but I can tell you in 3 to 6 months, and as we go forward, and we'll see what kind of changes he makes. If he can make changes and he's successful, to keep Quinn in the office, who's a lifetime politician, who has proven to do nothing, we needed to get him out of office, and that's why you vote.
All right. Well, do you vote to get the guy out that you can't stand anymore?
Absolutely. And we'll vote again 4 years from now to get the guy out that we don't that is not doing what he.
Where do you see it all leading, though? That's what I'm. You know.
You know what? We won't be around. We won't be around wherever it leads.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just so dissatisfied with society and the way the government works in so many ways. You know, you understand? It just seems like such a joke to me to go through with this like process of like, okay, you know, if I vote just the right way, then maybe this parasitic, you know, class of like elite scumbags will stop running things from behind the scenes also. Because that's what I'm really worried about. I'm not even really so much worried about the boss hog politicians, you know what I mean, that get their kickbacks and have their pleasures behind the scenes and whatever. I'm really worried about the way that government works and allowing, you know, the real powerful people who have the real money behind the scenes from running things, you know. Where is voting going to get us with that whole problem? You know,
right.
I don't know.
Right. I mean, we don't know. We will never know. It's.
But so I try to work it out into my mind to a point where there doesn't need to be a violent revolution. That's what I keep trying to figure out over and over and over. How do we get to where we just don't, where the solution isn't just kill all the bankers? You know what I mean? Where it's not this like, let's just slaughter the Rothschilds type of solution. How do we, help me out? I can't.
It's never going to happen.
I can't envision
there's too much
like,
apathy in this country. We don't have enough people, you know, and you get countries and third world countries and where they want to take over, you know, where the majority of the people are unhappy. In this country, the majority of the people are not unhappy.
I don't know if that's true. They might. Do you really think that's true?
Absolutely, because they don't care. They don't care.
Maybe they're not starving or homeless for the most part, but I don't know that most people here are happy per se.
Well,
I don't have the numbers to back this up because my fact checker isn't here.
You know, if you have your cell phone and you have your social networking and you have your 1,200 friends on Facebook.
But those are two things that are proven to cause anxiety and depression right there. You know, your addiction to your cell phone and social networking. You know, I mean, those are all. It's a big multi-angular problem there. You know, you can feel connected, but you can also feel isolated by the same device. You know,
but we can't. We don't know we don't know the difference though, because now we've just so assimilated ourselves into that. In the anxiety of just being so dependent on our cell phones. People don't watch news. You can ask 10 people, you can line up 10 people. How many states are in the United States? How many stars are on the American flag? They couldn't tell you. They couldn't tell you who the vice president of the United States. They couldn't tell you who won for governor in the state of Illinois.
Honestly, I couldn't have even told you that. I'm so checked out, you know, and I do a lot of research in a lot of areas, and I'm not like an intellectual slouch or someone that goes like, oh, I don't care, politics doesn't affect me. I've like come back around the other side. I got so obsessed with politics for so long that eventually I just threw my hands up and said, you know, I'm fucking out of this whole deal, and I don't care anymore, you know. With all the sickness that goes on in the political class, I'm just like, I got other enterprises, other things I want to think about, I guess, you know. But the voting thing is hot this week. And that's what happens
with the majority of people.
Yeah.
They just, you know, they refocus. They go, fuck it, I am just going to do something else. And
I think that there's two types of, there's two triggers for that, you know, conclusion. And one of them is like, oh, I tried to get into politics, but I didn't understand it, and it was exhausting. But I think the one I'm doing is a different one, which is like where you've gone through a black hole and come out in Wonderland and and just had enough. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just it's just a very strange thing to get really obsessed with government for a long period of time, you know, and I just had to fucking check out, I guess.
Right.
Because it's such a sick world, you know, and I disagree with so much of... Really, I think that's the root of this conversation is I disagree with the notion that you can govern other people. You know, I think that it's impossible to do it in the way that we expect it to be done currently. I don't think you can coach behavior. I don't think you can control any of this shit. I don't believe in like deterrence in the legal system and shit. That shit doesn't work. You know what I mean? Social like welfare programs don't work. A lot of these so-called goods that the government is supposed to be there for, I just don't believe in any of it anymore. Sorry, I kind of lost the track of where the fuck I was going with that. But
right. I mean, it's never worked. It's never one side. It works for one side. It doesn't work for the other. So the other one attacks the other side, and it just goes back and forth.
I suppose that's the whole thing that I'm saying is, I'm just, I mean, I don't knock anyone for voting, and I understand the idea of trying to be a grain of sand in the, you know, in the whole scheme of things and throw your weight, as it were, into the fray or whatever, but to use a bunch of weird hyperbole that didn't make sense, but I understand it. I just... And I don't even know, I guess maybe, I don't even know if there's a point in not voting. Maybe there isn't, you know, but I like my co-host's point about if no one voted, then the process would truly be a joke, you know, and we would be able to recognize that as a whole.
Listen, if we were all happy, we wouldn't vote. But we're not happy. We're not a happy society.
No, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah.
Well... Yeah. What is it at? I mean, it's never very much. What is it, about 20% of people vote or something?
Right.
It's not a lot.
Right. And especially midterms.
Yeah.
Very small amount.
I think the only time I ever voted was in a primary for Ron Paul years ago. And I don't even really believe in him anymore. You know, I love the guy's philosophy, and I don't know. Are you a fan of Ron Paul at all?
Well, being a libertarian, of course.
Yeah.
You know,
which, you know, I made that point a lot this week talking about voting to friends and people on social networking and whatever. I would say 99% of Americans probably, if you lead them there point by point and what they really believe, almost everyone's a libertarian, you know?
Right, absolutely.
And they've just thrown themselves in different political camps.
Right.
Some people, because it's a social thing. It's you know, I think for a lot of people, especially on the left, it's I need to be part of this socially because this is the cool thing and the accepting thing and the compassionate thing and the understanding and the progressive and what, you know what I mean? And a lot of people on the right, I think it's more, there's people coming from every angle, but I think the new kind of right movement that's gone on, the resurgence in recent years, has more to do with personal liberty and shit like that, you know. But both
and it's
sides,
a younger crowd,
you know,
now also. You're shifting in the demographics. You're seeing a lot more younger people, attractive people, you know, with more of a conservative viewpoint.
Sure.
So they're leading the charge.
I often get thrown in the that category when, you know, because I'm pro Second Amendment. You know, I have a hard time with the abortion thing. I have, you know, don't think it's right, really. Right. I'm like, you know, so there's some basic things like that people tend to go, oh, you're right wing. I'm like, you know, do I have to be? Like, do I need to be? You know, do you have to pigeonhole me into something in order to understand me as a person with a viewpoint? You know, but I guess what I was going to say is, you know, most people throw themselves in a camp for some reason slightly different than their real political views, which are probably most people are live and let live, you know, which is boiled down, I guess, libertarianism. You know, would you agree with that?
Definitely. And you'll see more of it because it's the social issues against the economic issues, you know, and we all really do meet in the center. I mean, even most of the conservatives will say, you know, abortion, they'll agree the women should have the right to do whatever they want with their body. But we're all kind of, you know, thrown into the same,
I always thought, do you ever think that's funny that became the major hot button issue for women, as in terms of like, this is how I'm going to define my right to my body, is like whether or not I can kill my fetus, which is funny to me that was because that's a trick in the media. It really is,
Yeah.
and that women associate the ability to do that with being a strong individual per se. You know what I mean? And that to me is very strange.
Right.
I don't understand.
Well,
that.
it's all talking points. People stay focused on 10 seconds of news, and social media. And these are the points they keep throwing out over and over. And they convince people that, the right doesn't like this and they don't like that. And the left likes this and likes that. So, and then people, that's how they determine their, what they want to, who they want in office.
Who your parents voted for, who your friends all like, and all that shit has a lot to do with it too.
Absolutely.
When you boil it down, it really is a lot simpler. We all kind of do want the same things,
But I think we've gotten to a point now, though. I think, and we see that with all the polling, that people are not happy, and people want change, and they want good change. And we see that with the high unemployment, people want to work. So we're going to see changes. And coming back to Rauner and being elected governor, if he doesn't do what he said he'll do, then we'll have a revolution.
Well, but will we though? Because that's just been forever. No politician does what they say they're going to do. You know what I mean?
You know what? But now,
what about Obama?
But we have to be a little optimistic. Well, Obama was, he was not a great senator, and people voted in him because he's a handsome guy. He was a great orator.
They voted for him because TV said to.
And TV and the liberal media kind of,
Yeah, but like you never heard of the fucking guy before he gave that keynote address or something.
Well, we did in Illinois because he was our senator.
I didn't hear about him before that. Before he made that big splash, whatever that was. I think the keynote address at the State of the Union or some. State of the Union.
Right. That was a brilliant speech. That he read. Absolutely.
That he read. Yeah. Hang on. Did you have a problem with your phone before?
No, so I thought we disconnected somehow. I'm not sure how.
All right.
But no, continue. I'll just jump in whenever.
Yeah. Okay.
By the way, Stuart.
Yes.
You got a great voice, Stuart.
Thank you.
Great.
Yeah, maybe you should from now on. You should just be feeding him your lines. Your fucking horrible mic technique and scratchy voice can just stay out.
No, he's good. You're good too.
So, anyways, we're talking about how Stuart says that if Rauner doesn't do his job, that people will really wake up after that. But I don't see any reason to set
well, what is his job?
Or what he says he's going to do. Which is what?
Well,
keep them immigrants from coming over the Iowa border? That's what's he going to do for us?
Rauner's job is to create jobs in this state and to take the economy and to move the economy forward. And that's where his success has been as a businessman. And what more do we want the government? We want our government to protect us. And we want them. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I thought you were finished. Go ahead.
No, I mean, that is it. I mean, that is what the job of the government. We have totally.
You say that his job is to create jobs. Okay. In my research of government and intervention in business, they're the problem. When you let people just go crazy with no regulation, economy happens. Big economy happens.
That's kind of,
and you are absolutely right. I should say, you know what? I should backtrack a bit. Government does not create jobs, of course.
Well,
they don't.
They say they're trying to,
right?
But that's not what they're doing. They're regulating everything. So when they say we're trying to create jobs,
right,
what they're really doing is controlling and getting a consensus of all the business that is happening, so their controllers can control it. So when you look at like United States that had free enterprise for how many years? Right at the beginning, we outdid countries that have been there for thousands of years.
Well, not only that, we had
in 100 years.
We had free enterprise and no central banking system until the late 1800s, right. I think.
And then once
the
government
1800s was the Bank of the United States of America. Yeah, you're right. Right?
Right.
I think. I don't know.
Okay. and then they got rid of that, and then.
And that is what Rauner's going to. There's so many restrictions and taxation on the businesses, and it's hurting us. And that's when I say, we need to go forward in creating jobs. We need to take, we need to walk away from the businesses and saying, okay, you guys, you've had enough. Let's refocus. Refocus. You can't be taxed to death. We need to create jobs in this state and in this country. The government needs to yeah.
I used to be a libertarian, real strict libertarian, to protect our borders, that's it. But now I don't like it all. I don't like the system whatsoever. I don't like its existence. I'm offended by its existence and the violence it threatens me. That threatens me because of its existence. I don't like it at all. I'm not going to vote. I don't like it at all.
I understand that. That's kind of that. I mean, that's kind of me and you keep kind of saying the same thing over and over, which is that we just don't like the system, haven't had good experiences with it, and don't want any part of it anymore. And you're taking it another step further and saying, I don't recognize its validity or its authority over me.
No, I don't. And voting is a form of recognizing it, and I don't want to recognize it.
I understand that, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what he said?
I get it. But we need to vote. We need to vote.
No,
if we didn't vote, Quinn would still be governor. Quinn would still be governor, and we'd still be number 50 in our social liberties. I mean, that is a very important number. 50.
Somebody's got to be number 50,
right? I don't want it to be the state of Illinois.
You want to put it on Alaska?
I live in the state of Illinois.
Yeah.
Number 50 in social liberties. That's our freedoms.
Well,
it definitely is, and it is horrible
here.
Number
one doesn't have any liberties neither.
Who is that? New Hampshire?
Right. No.
Who's number one? Fuck, I wish we had our fact checker.
I don't know who number one is, but it's got to be like New Hampshire or Vermont or Wyoming.
Usually it's so good. You have a question and somebody tells it to us.
North Dakota, possibly.
North Dakota. I thought New Hampshire was the big fucking, the big freedom state.
I would not say it's a democratic state. I would say it's Texas.
No, I don't think so.
Texas is along the border, and they have those checkpoints all over Texas.
Yeah, and they've got a bunch of big cities and shit. I would say it's somewhere with no big cities, somewhere where people have really kept an eye on their local government all the way up. And here's an example of a really free city: Ann Arbor, Michigan. Now, there's a place that's like heavily Democratic, or Democrat, and I am annoyed as hell by the people that live there. I really am. But I have to hand it to them. They've kept a close eye on their local government, and they really take it seriously who they elect into their sheriffs. And they out people that put up speed traps and start the drunk driving bullshit and all that. And as a result, there's an extremely low crime rate. You can walk around all night and not feel paranoid about, can I smoke a joint in the park? Can we cut down the tracks instead of walking down the main street? Can we do that? You know what I mean? All this stupid shit that you worry about around a place like Chicago.
Ann Arbor's it's also a college town, though.
Yeah, it is, but it's it's one of hundreds of cities that feel freer than anywhere in Illinois, that I've been to. I mean, you've been all over the country and other places in the world, right? I think.
Oh yeah.
And as have I, not as much international traveling as I'd like to do, but being around the little that I have, I don't ever feel as oppressed as I do right here in Chicagoland.
It's interesting. I was just actually talking about international travel. I was in Berlin, Vienna, and Prague last November. And because I blog out of these, I asked about 100 people, scholars, writers, students, bartenders, while I was there and blogging out of these countries, whether they'd want to live in the United States. Now that they're a democracy, back in the 80s when they went from a totalitarian government, a socialist government.
You're talking about Germany?
Yeah, Germany, okay. Austria.
Or I guess a lot of Eastern Europe.
And Eastern Europe in general. And 100% said they do not want to live in America.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Oh, do you know what's interesting about economics and monarchy? Have you ever heard anybody speak about that?
No, what do you mean?
A monarchy, they actually do better with their economy than a democracy because they want to leave their legacy, their children something. So they actually do better than actually getting in. Oh, I got 4 years to make as much money as possible, and just betray my people and pass laws for lobbyists, and you know what I'm saying. So the economy is stronger in monarchy.
You're talking about a monarchy has some motivation not to completely destroy the society. They want to keep people happy enough to
give their children something.
Whereas suppose now it's just like it's like people just grabbing fucking furniture from a burning building, and
that's because we went from a republic to a democracy.
Yeah.
Well, we're supposed to be a democratic republic. There's that old
exactly.
That old conversation.
The democracy part is only supposed to refer to the voting process, not to...
Say that again. You were cutting out there. Say that again.
The democratic part of our republic is only supposed to refer to the voting process. It's not supposed to refer to policy. It's only supposed to refer to the voting process. We are a republic. We are not you know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So in a republic, individuals are protected above all else.
Right.
Instead of in a democracy where the majority controls the minority.
Right.
Which that only refers to the process of election.
Yeah. No, I saw it. I saw a great video one time that explained it pretty brilliantly. That was basically a restaurant that had a bunch of choices on the menu. But you had to. I'm gonna totally butcher this explanation, but basically the idea is that a guy was in there eating with a big group of people and wanted a couple of different things, and the waiter slowly kind of like chipped down the menu until they made him have what the 6 people out of the 10 wanted. The other 4 had to eat it. And it's a very basic kind of simplified explanation, but it shows you how childish it is, and how we kind of want to control each other like a one giant kindergarten class in this country.
Right, and that's exactly why I was a libertarian when I thought the system could work somehow in my favor, because libertarians want others to do nothing for them, whereas everybody else wants everybody else to do stuff for them and give them money and give them support and give them, you know what I mean, all of these types of things.
Definitely, yeah.
So what are you now? What are you now?
Do I sound all right?
Yeah, you're fine. What do you?
Okay,
go ahead. Stuart has a question for you.
So what are you now? Do you lean to the now that you're not a libertarian?
Okay. See, it's complicated because let's say that we were our leaders were good, noble, people that actually cared for other people. Then I'd be a socialist, but no way, not with those fuckers in control. If they released all the suppressed technology, I'd be a socialist. You know what I mean? Because we wouldn't have to do anything. We just have robots doing everything.
Yeah,
but
let me interject here and just say that I abhor socialism as a forced scenario run by some authoritarian government. However, if we cooperated as a species, we would have a society where we probably worked 15, 20 hours a week each and had nice lives where robots did a lot of the fucking work for us and didn't just take jobs as we're paranoid about now. I mean, if we all split the pot a little bit better. But, on the other hand, I'm also I really like the aspects of capitalism that promote innovation and I guess
listen, if we were a socialist society, we would not be here today. We would not be able to do
because
that.
we've never been sophisticated enough to pull it off.
We can
never
do it.
I mean,
if they release I'm sorry.
It's an endless argument because socialism looks good on paper, always has, doesn't work in real life, never will,
never worked,
never worked, never probably will when it's a forced scenario. I think there's communal lifestyles that probably work for certain people and whatever, but capitalism has been really great at times, and then also it's finally really come around to bite us in the ass as well. So
well, not really. That's not true.
No.
Capitalism works out fine until
yeah,
until the government intervenes. When the government intervenes, and it becomes fascism, and they say, "Look what capitalism done," but that's not capitalism.
no, because you could also look at it from the angle that through like a really free market society, some people have gained so much money and done duplicitous things behind the scenes with it and built networks with motives that are different than the overall, general public of this country. And you have these people that have built up this mass amount of power through just capitalism as well, that are doing really bad things with it, and that's one, on one hand is our responsibility as consumers to try to put money in the right hands. But on the other hand, it's perhaps a necessary evil of a free society.
Right.
But then it comes back around to bite us in the ass in the form of those guys tend to be socialists. The guys that amassed that wealth in the free market society tend to be the ones promoting this socialist agenda. The major fucking
because the government gets involved, and they should not be getting involved.
Right.
In
Absolutely.
capitalism. And that is the problem.
I agree.
Then they take control and they go, you make too much money and we need to share. And then we become socialistic. And this is what's happening right now.
Well, and it's also, it's just a political trick at a certain level too. A lot of these guys that are ultra billionaires that pretend to be like super compassionate, socialists, and they talk about we want to pay more, there's guys out there saying, I want to pay more taxes and I should be doing this. And then, you look at on the books later, they filed for every exemption,
Hollywood.
No,
They want to get Hollywood.
They're paying nothing.
Right. They want the law on the books because
and-
it doesn't actually apply to them,
and also to go back and you were talking about apathy. That's where the apathy comes in, is as consumers. Apathy to not vote, that does nothing. Consumers should say, what did you guys do? And then they should never buy their shit again, ever. I mean, that's how you fucking make your life good, is telling these companies that are doing shit things to people to not buy their shit. You know what I mean?
Right. That was the modern day
BP,
revolution.
They stole a bunch of oil. They didn't clean it up. They just put a dispersant on it, and there's 3, 4, 5,000 people, their teeth falling out. You know what I mean? Never buy that again, and they won't clean up half-ass anymore.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Shit, I haven't been to a BP in a while.
Me too.
Years ago when that happened, I started going to the other evil gas station across the street.
What, Shell? The clean?
It doesn't matter.
It
doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. But yeah, I mean, BP. Me and my co-host here. Yeah, we researched BP and Halliburton quite a bit at one point, and we've talked about it on the show before, but I mean, there's no question in my mind that they're run by complete evil psychopaths. It's just a fact.
Yeah, right.
That's the type of shit that they do for money. Yeah, the whole thing in the Gulf was pretty fucking out of this world. But should we just...
Yeah, we were the only ones watching videos of people online, saying, my teeth are falling out, my hair's falling out. Nobody fucking knows. The media won't cover it. You know what I mean?
Oh, the blue plague?
The blue plague, the Gulf blue plague.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That shit was crazy. And then we learned that they built synthetic life to fucking pump into the fucking... The crevice, whatever it is, into the pocket to fucking to push the oil out because it eats oil and
BP and Halliburton both had contracts with this company called Synthetic Genomics. I don't know how we got into this, but now we have to explain it. With this company called Synthetic Genomics to develop a synthetic organism, a living organism that could reproduce, that ate oil, whatever the fuck you call it in its scientific name, that would basically eat oil and spit out carbon dioxide to increase pressure in oil wells so they could get better flow out of when they would tap into them, whatever. Right. So that
and this synthetic this organism they created was completely synthetic. The amino acids themselves that created the DNA were computer generated. They weren't even it wasn't even they were like O's and ones, like binary. It's fucking creepy, man.
Anyways, it was called Cynthia, and so Halliburton, I think right before the famous oil wreck in the Gulf there, or whatever, the explosion that started the leak, Halliburton bought the company, I think 2 weeks, 2 months or some stupid shit before, bought the company Boots and Coots that got hired to do the cleanup in the Gulf. This is the kind of shit they're doing, you know, they're willing to release, you know, we basically, whatever, without going into the whole hour-long thing, both of us were thoroughly convinced that they tapped into that oil well knowing it was unstable and triggered the explosion so they could get the cleanup contract from their subsidiary that ended up making $1 billion more than they were fined or whatever. You know what I mean? The whole,
but they didn't even clean it up. They sprayed dispersant, which dispersed it downward.
Well, they sprayed Corexit was the name of the chemical.
It was called Corexit. It's
Corexit.
a dispersant. So what they do is they crop dust, in a crop dusting fashion, take a plane, dust the surface, and it would disperse it downward.
But anyways, but to bring it around full circle, just to complete the theory that what we found out is Synthetic Genomics had finished their synthetic organism like a month before the explosion, and that there was ample evidence that they used the thing to build pressure in the well as part of their test or whatever, and that they tried to cover up that it was in there once it had exploded and released into the Gulf.
You know what probably happened? It probably it multiplied too quickly and created too much pressure is probably what happened.
That could be, and you know, or as we ended up thinking at the time, it could have been something even further behind the scenes that just wanted to release that synthetic organism into the Gulf for some other purpose.
Right, we thought that as well.
Yeah,
but and not only that, but Synthetic Genomics is half owned by BP. I don't think you've said that.
Oh, I forgot that.
Yeah, that's
I just
true.
remember the name.
They own half that company, and they merged. Synthetic Genomics is a merger between BP and Greg J. Venter's original corporation. I forget what the name of that fucker was.
Craig J. Ventnor.
Craig J. Venter.
Yeah. Or Venter or whatever. Anyways.
Venter, yeah, he's the guy who cracked the human genome.
We went down the rabbit hole for a second there. So I hope you ever heard about any of that shit?
I have, but you guys are amazing. The knowledge that you could retain so much of this.
We used to research a lot on that.
We used to get into it for our other radio show, Conscious Nexus.
But we would have
to really break things down and really break them down. You know,
we would have research sessions that we would go 12 hours without eating or drinking, and we'd sit at the table with 50 binders and notebooks and computers and shit, and just be I mean, you would have to learn definitions to words to discuss some of the topics we wanted, and it would just be like, you know what I mean? You just go so far.
Every 2 hours, we'd look up at each other and be like, "Holy
days
and
days!"
I'm freaking impressed by you guys.
Well, thank you. You're one of a select few who's impressed by us. But we're happy to have you on board. He said he's impressed by us.
I'm impressed. Listen, I came to the studio with not knowing I was going to be on the air. You know. Now I'm out of my league.
Okay.
No. Everybody's got their area of expertise.
Absolutely.
Ours is every conspiracy event that's ever happened.
That's true.
That's our area of expertise. But yeah, let's go back. We got a couple minutes left in this break, and then we'll have to do some music for a minute. Like I have a fucking program director or something. I always talk about this show.
I'm probably not going to stay on. I'll probably call you when you get into the next thing, you know?
Yeah, that's fine. I always talk about this show as though there's some real, like, obligation, you know? Like, it's not just me setting things up, just making my... It's like when you were a kid and you would get a tape recorder with your brother and sisters and make, like, a radio show, you know? That's basically...
usually we got a crew there, man.
Yeah.
I mean, usually I'm there, you know, fact checker's there. And,
it's usually...
So where are you tonight? Where are you tonight?
Me?
Yes,
you.
Econo Lodge, USA, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Wow. I just drove by there today.
I'm a brickie.
Did you?
Yeah. I was doing a gig in Madison.
What are you doing up there, Patrick?
Laying brick up on an establishment. I don't want to give them a plug because I hate them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What kind of place is it? A restaurant?
Yeah, Mitt Romney may have put some money into them recently.
Oh, really?
Figuring out from there.
And so you obviously don't want to say their name, huh?
No, it's a restaurant. It's a pretty big job. We're laying brick up and shit, and it's pretty fucking awesome all day on the scaffold, you know.
Oh, yeah. That sounds great.
Yeah.
But you're not from the state of Wisconsin, right? Because they had an
No,
interesting
I'm from here.
election.
I'm usually in studio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
his
the usual
we're
co-host.
co-hosts for the show. Yeah. So.
But he couldn't get away from his brickwork this week.
Yeah. Gotta
like,
work. Gotta pay the fucking bills because
we're only getting paid like
honestly,
$4,000 a show right now.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I said Sunday evening overdose pays me about like 3 Twizzlers a week.
This dude. So I've got the Ustream open on the Skype laptop.
Sure.
Do you hear this?
What is that?
Did you hear that? That was.
Yeah, I did. I kind of.
That was the fucking. I've got the volume muted on the Ustream that I've got open.
But
See,
the
look, there it goes again.
play, right?
But the commercials fucking play, even though the volume is muted. How evil is that? And you can hear this, right?
No, last week you're like, what the fuck are you doing? You didn't mute the fucking system. I said, it's fucking muted. You're like, you don't know what you're doing. No,
yeah, you're totally right.
They somehow go around your hardwired fucking... They go around your computer mute.
That just started playing over the speakers of the computer, weirdly.
Yeah. Remember that happened last week when I was in studio.
Yeah. Anyways, that is another gag that I want to start on the show. If listeners want to call in for every commercial that you see on our show, because we don't control these, they just pop them in, you know. So anytime you see a commercial, call in or comment on the Facebook page. Let us know what it is, and we'll talk shit about that product and fucking
awesome.
dissect it however we can. We'll go and we'll find out about scandals in their past. We'll just shit on anyone who advertises during our show.
What was that commercial you just that just played?
I didn't pay attention. Some pasta. I don't know.
Some pasta? Did you say?
Yeah, some pasta. Some bullshit.
Right.
So, anyways,
BP.
where are we at? I want to give everybody their last. Actually, you know what? You've got your son here with you too. Do you got any thoughts on voting? No. He doesn't
vote.
All right, he doesn't want in the round
He's
table.
a lot like everybody.
He would be outraged.
What'd you say?
How long is Stuart on? How long you got Stuart in?
I just came in for a few minutes. I just came by to say hello.
So this is, by the way.
So I was not even prepared for this.
Yeah.
I would have done my research.
No, it's fine. I didn't research either.
And learned more about synthetics and
and BP.
BP.
So let's just let everybody know.
The most expert on that subject of anybody in the world, honestly.
That at least the week that we were researching it, we definitely were. But
oh yeah.
So for anybody that's been enjoying this little segment on voting, do you want to just give yourself a quick plug in what you got going on? And Stuart's a local singer, songwriter, performer. Not local. I don't know. All my friends are. I have to say local because that's what they are. But Stuart's an international singer, songwriter, and performer.
He's a globetrotter.
I'm a globetrotter. I'm a globetrotter.
By the way, I listened to the replay from 2 weeks ago. You said the term globetrotter like 50 fucking times in that episode. Did you realize that?
Yeah, I like the word globetrotter.
I love the word globetrotter.
You use the verb globetrotting and shit like that. Like, yeah. But anyways, Stuart, give yourself some attention here, some plugs. Go ahead.
Well, let me. I'm a humorist. That's what I do for a living, and I do corporate events. I do festivals. I write songs. Maybe you can play one of my new tunes that you gave me the very best line.
Oh yeah,
the Sharon Tate.
Yeah, I gave him a Sharon Tate reference,
and it is getting airplay already.
It was low hanging fruit, but I grabbed it.
You did. You made it a little more edgier. It needed a little more edgy.
Hey, any comedy song needs a serial killing victim reference in it.
When you're talking about fucking Britney Spears, of course, that's what you.
Especially someone like Britney Spears, with all the with all the references to like occult and ritualistic weirdness in her career, you got to have the slaughtered virgin in the song. Not virgin, fucking slaughtered. God damn it, I fucked that up. The slaughtered pregnant woman, Sharon Tate, son of a bitch.
Nice try.
Well, she Roman Polanski's wife, right?
Yeah. Valley of the Dolls.
All right, get out of here. Goodbye.
Hey, Patrick, nice meeting you over the phone.
It was nice meeting your voice, sir.
Thank you. I look forward to meeting you one day in the studio.
All right, absolutely. I'll see you around. I'll call next hour. Good night.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, Stuart, you can join our. We have a revolving door basically with our buddies and guests.
Thank you. I'd be more than happy.
Yeah, come by anytime.
I'm a big fan of you. I've been a big fan of you for many, many, many years.
Join the club, pal.
When the day you sang Harmony on Pie in the Sky.
Oh yeah, I actually I sang Harmony on this guy's album. Shit, what was I, 10 or something? Yeah.
But I saw the brilliance and the talent that you are now.
Yeah. Well, hey, I could hit a major fifth like nobody else when I was 10. So, anyways, let people know what you got going on and where they can find you and everything.
Well, you know what? I have a project right now. They can go to stuartjacobson.com, or they can go to Stas Bruno, STASBRUNO.com. Stas Bruno, the #1 porn singer in the world back in the 90s. And he's reemerging. He lives in Miami Beach, and he is going to we're going to see more of him right now. So
I cannot wait to see Stas Bruno.
In fact, Stas, yes, STAS.
So now this is
BRUNO.com.
This is a porn star.
This is a guy who was born in the Ukraine, in Lvov. He came here when he was 6 years old. His father was a sex therapist, and his mother was a stripper.
Yeah,
and he became a porn singer. And he called me about a week and a half ago, and looking for representation. And I said, maybe I can help you. So he's got a website up. And it'll be interesting. I'm flying out to Miami on Wednesday to talk to him, and we'll see what happens.
I think that's very exciting. Is this a guy? Does he have a thick German accent?
No, because he came here when he was 6 years old, so he
I
assimilated
see. Okay.
into the but he had a big hit back in the 90s on Hollywood Boulevard called "I Like Sex with You," and he was playing all the celebrity sex clubs. And then he went, he kind of left a low profile.
This guy's somebody who might pal around with somebody like Tony Clifton.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. Maybe.
Like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. So
I can't wait.
But I got to tell you, though, right now, because in the early 2000s, though, his success kind of dissipated a bit, and he's now working on Ocean Drive at Starbucks because he needs the health benefits.
I can't wait to meet this guy.
Yes, I have not met him yet.
You really ought to bring him in one night.
But if you go to, and I figured, well, he told me he's got a website, stasbruno.com.
Okay.
And I went to the website, and it's just an image, but it has.
That sounds suspenseful.
Yes. So
it's just gets you on the edge of your seat as soon as you go there. I can't wait to see what this guy makes this website into.
Yes, I'm very excited as well.
So yeah.
So maybe next week I'll know, because Wednesday I'm going to see him.
Stas Bruno.
Stasbruno. STASBRUNO.
And he's playing Wednesday where?
And I'll give you Wednesday I'm going to go see him. I'm going to help move forward his stagnant career.
That's awesome. Speaking of people that have come out of hiding, did you ever hear of a guy? This popped into my head, and as the last thing before we go to break, did you ever hear of a guy called David Cole? Back in the 80s and 90s, he was a Holocaust revisionist.
No.
He was a Jewish guy from New York who, let me see, I got notes about him. Nah, fuck it, I'll go off the top of my head. He was a Jewish guy from New York who started delving really into his own family history and, looked into how they got here, during the time of the early Nazis' rise to power and shit like that, and researched the whole thing to the point that he started seeing like a lot of inconsistencies and this and that, and wrote a couple books and did this and that, and started going on radio shows and going on talk shows in the 90s and stuff where people would just scream at him, and he'd say, look, I found this point here and there, and then somebody would go, my grandmother died in the Holocaust. Are you saying my grandmother wasn't real? And he'd go, no, that's not what I'm saying. And it was this really stupid whole career that he had of just being a demon, and he was trying to figure out this story of a lot of these discrepancies, which are mostly attributed to like white supremacist groups, usually are the ones that talk about that stuff, you know?
Right.
And this was a Jewish guy himself figuring, and I found it really interesting. So he disappeared in like 94 or something. Went totally off the map. Everybody thought he maybe was dead or, you know, or whatever. And just this year resurfaced because one of like 4 or 5 people who knew who he actually was his ex-girlfriend that got pissed off and outed him. And he was, I guess, a real wealthy, I forget what name he was going by, but he's a real wealthy guy out in LA or Hollywood or some such thing, or, you know, in California, somewhere around there, where he was very like a guy who was in tune with like movie stars and shit like this. And I guess he was sort of known as like, you know, throwing parties, and he was sort of like a social hub for like Hollywood conservatism and stuff. And I guess they're a lot of times real like demonized in Hollywood and LA scenes and this and that. You can't be conservative. So this guy was like this sort of underground hero for like Hollywood conservatives, and sort of like running a hub of that kind of thinking in the very liberal, you know, areas of California out there. And he was a big, you know, party thrower and, you know, social butterfly type and overall wealthy man or whatever. And they just found out he was the Holocaust revisionist, and now everyone's distancing themselves from him, and it's this big, you know, well, I never knew, you know, and I didn't know who he was, and this.
So
and
he
that.
reinvented himself.
So he reinvented himself as a totally new name.
Right.
He had money already, so he was able
Right.
to buy a new, you know, it's not that much. Any one of us
Right.
could start a new identity. Mexicans do it every day for $1,200. You know what I mean? It's like, I only know that because I have Mexican friends that they're like, yeah, give me $1,200. Who you want your name to be? Like, all right,
Danny Goldberg.
yeah. Can I get a social security? Oh yeah, it works at the DMV. Yeah, wait, come on. Like, you got the money, way.
So did this just happen with this guy?
Yeah, just this year he got discovered as for, you know,
Right,
for who he
he was busted for-
And you see his picture, you can tell it's him. You know,
Right.
he didn't have plastic surgery or anything. But
And what's his name?
David Cole,
Cole.
Cole,
Yeah,
and
David Cole.
he was a
Interesting.
very interesting guy in the 90s, and a lot of his points were like, you know, I didn't research that as thoroughly as a lot of things I have, and I'm not quite sure, but he made a lot of points that would make you think, you know, he would do things like a lot of the numbers didn't make sense. Like a lot of people have accused, you know, the like Jewish lobbies and this and that over the years of like trying to co-opt the whole thing as being Jewish. And he was saying like, you know, it wasn't as many Jewish people, and it was more gypsies and whoever, and Lithuanians or somebody, and this and that. And he would take immense heat for this, you know. And I just found it so weird that it's like no one can dispute the history, because it's this like another one of those things where people have been convinced that like this is the crux of our pride, you know,
Right.
and our existence. And like, it's like, come on, you know, if the guy's got a point, like, you let him make his fucking point, right? It's very strange
Right.
how people identify culturally with certain things, you know. And he also made the point, I think, of like the Holocaust term was not used for a long time until I think the 70s or something. And it's also, he was making the point of like, why is this the term for and everything else is a genocide, but this one thing is a Holocaust? You know, it's like a lot of weird ways that history is taught. And he was just never even really got to a point that he was making. He was just saying, isn't this stuff kind of weird? You know,
Interesting, yeah.
isn't it weird?
Yes.
And he was completely demonized just for going like, hey, isn't this kind of, you know, and yeah.
Right.
And he was
right.
himself. The weird thing is usually you get a pass when it's your own culture.
Right.
You're usually allowed to dissect your own thing, but he wasn't. Yeah, for whatever reason.
David Cole.
David Cole.
Gotta look him up. I
gotta
look
check
him
it
up.
out. So we're gonna get to that later in the show. But I don't know. You got any other thoughts to wrap it up?
No,
before we take a break?
I mean, just to get back to the original point, why you were so kind enough to invite me in, and I just hope Bruce Rauner is a successful governor in this state and moves the state forward, because this is what we need right now.
Well, I hope
we need a lot of success.
I would hope that one day somebody's right when they say that.
Well, he is right.
I would hope that at some point somebody would be right for the job, but I guess my only final point is I'm just not convinced that the job could be done well, and I just don't believe in the whole goddamn thing anymore.
But I got to tell you, the final thought,
all
one
right.
of the greatest lyrics
you
ever
can have the
written
final thought.
as a lyricist that you are.
Hold on a second. Sorry. Yeah, you go ahead.
One of the greatest lyrics ever written by a Jewish guy, by the way, by the name of Johnny Mercer.
There's a lot of great Jewish lyricists.
Oh, my God.
A lot.
And it goes like this. You've got to accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative, and don't mess with Mr. In Between. So if that could all be our mantra, we'll be in good shape.
I like it, and I think we got a final thought coming from the gallery. What do you got there for us, Earthling?
We had a commercial, 3M.
Oh, 3M tape?
3M fucking all material that's made out of plastics. Yeah, they do.
They're like
everything.
a conglomerate, like DuPont. They just make all kinds of shit. Fucking poisoning the environment. Bunch of bastards.
Well, 3M makes like stickers, adhesives, fucking plastics.
And their stickers are the worst.
Fucking
I've used like I've ordered stickers from 3M. They lasted like 2 days and fell off of everything I put them on. I go to local fucking printers and get the real shit for like half the price. Fuck 3M.
Fuck 3M.
All right, was that good?
That's it. I just wanted to call and say we had it. Oh, also I wanted to say one more thing.
Yeah.
I was dead on. North Dakota is the freest state.
Wow.
Was it really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what's New Hampshire talking about? They're always bragging.
New Hampshire is like 7 down the list or some shit.
Is it really? That's not bad.
North
I guess,
Dakota,
but...
South Dakota, a few other states. Yeah.
Wow.
North Dakota just has the income tax thing, and they have the no car insurance thing, which is a big deal for people who are struggling. You know.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's why it makes sense to people that are just regular people. They're just like, I'm going to New Hampshire. They know it. Well, Florida doesn't have an income tax either.
Right. Florida's another great state.
Yeah. And then they were like, where's the LeBron James going to choose to go to? Well, the place he saves $14 million. Fucking no-brainer.
Right.
Anyway. That was Florida, by the way.
All right. You done?
Yeah. You going to break or?
Yeah, we're going to break.
Trucking, huh?
Yeah, I don't care. You're the one that always has to smoke a cigarette. I don't give a shit.
That's true. I'm always like, let's go to fucking break now. I'm fucking manic and shit.
No, I don't care. I'm just just making a radio show for the hell of it. Yeah, we will go to break. Actually, I'm going to play my favorite Jewish lyricist of all time, named MC Paul Barman. I don't know if
premium Jew bag.
Yeah, and MC Paul Barman is a guy, a Jewish rapper out of I think New York State, up north somewhere. So this is him. We're going to take a quick break. Thank you very much for tuning into the Sunday Evening Overdose. Goodbye.
I make death tunes, take from MF Doom and